Welcome back to another episode and another season of CED Connects, Cannabis Entrepreneurial Dialogues. I'm your host, Danny, and as you guys can see, we have a brand new background here, brand new studio. We're excited to be here, and we got some more guests. We got some more things going on. We got the man, the myth, the legend coming from behind the cameras. And honestly, we got Steven as our new co-host. What up, Steven?
What up, Danny? I'm excited to be here. Happy 2024, everyone.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about weed.
I'm excited, man. And as I mentioned, this is the first time that we're here for the new season. We're in the American Cholo Studios in the beautiful city of North Hollywood.
North Hollywood.
Well, it's a little dirty out here.
A little wet right now.
It's a little wet, you know.
It is beautiful, but a little dirty. But
Yeah.
what's going on, fellas?
What up? Do we want to do the second now?
We could jump right into the
All
second.
right, let's do the second real
bang it
quick
out the
and then
way.
go in there, yeah. All right. Do you want to start the second one?
I'll do it.
Yeah.
You should do the timer on the TV too, Chris. Timer, TV. Yeah, you know the.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh, right there to the side. Right where the hat's at, right there? Right there. You just should. There you go. Come on, baby. I bet. I did just. That's all you guys got to do. You get times that up to like 40 minutes, something so.
okay, cool.
All right, go ahead.
All right, in 3, 2. Welcome back to another episode of CED Connects. We are now tuning into part 2. Thank you for tuning in, and let's get back to the show.
Cool. All right. So where are we gonna go? All right. So we're excited to introduce our first guest of this season. He was raised in the streets of North Hollywood, someone that invokes change within the Latino community through open dialogues, through his platforms about local and national politics. But actually, he doesn't only just talk the talk, but he also is involved with the community as a part of the neighborhood council. He's also day job with construction, has built a beautiful studio here that we're currently in. And, you know, want to be able to introduce to the show Gil Tejada, the American Cholo. What up, man?
What's going on, fella? It's an honor for you guys to have me on your as a guest on your first show back, even though I kind of threatened you guys. You guys couldn't be here. Now I'm playing with you. No, you guys asked. It worked out great. I told you when it rains, I usually don't go to work because it's raining because I do
Sure.
structural concrete. So now we're here. We're going to talk about some bud, man. Not flower. Remember,
Not flower.
You don't
not
want flowers.
No, I want bud. All right, let's run it.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna do something a little different this time around within the season. We want to bring up some hot takes, current events, or even just bring up things that have already been talked about within the community, within the industry, and then just bring it back to light if there's anything that's been done afterwards and whatnot. But the first thing that has been brought up is, and I don't know if you've seen this, Steven, but the off the charts remarks that was made by the CEO.
I think
Norman.
everyone in the industry saw that clip.
And Gil,
Yeah.
we're gonna share it, and then we'll ask for your thoughts about
For
it as well
sure.
too. But off the charts CEO Norman Yusuf, there was a clip that was posted. It looks like there was a meeting that was going on, and the clip that was posted was the security footage that had audio attached to this, and you hear him. And I was sitting back yesterday and like kind of just playing it back so I can write it out, and he said within the years, Off the Charts Vista has been open for 5 years. Do you know how much money we have saved by not paying the vendors because they went out of business or they never collected because they never lasted? I'm not talking about PCF. I'm not talking about Nabis or the 30 stapled brands that are here to stay. I'm talking about these fucking mom and pops that come and go, hundreds of dollars that you don't have to pay, and if you don't have to pay, they're not knocking on your doors, and it then just clipped off that way. And so for first and foremost, like obviously there's gonna be some blowback because of,
For sure, people hated him.
one, they hate him, yes, but not only on the backside of this is the it wasn't allowable, right? Like no one knew that this was being recorded. No one knew that. So I'm sure there's going to be some type of ramifications.
Now, who
on
exactly
that.
is the guy who made these comments?
He is the owner and CEO of a shop in Vista. Actually, as I was doing some digging,
a lot of shops
that are starting to open up, and we'll definitely get into that.
Is this one certain name brand shop? Is that what it is?
Yes, off the charts.
Off the charts.
Yeah,
what it's
so
called.
off the
Okay.
charts. And so what's been, I know they've been around obviously for 5-7 years now. The store in Vista, they were very prevalent early on in the San Diego area, and as time has gone and the way that things have been happening within the industry, there's more and more licenses that have been awarded. Most recently, social equity licenses that have been approved. And so for those on this new platform, in order for you to open up a legal shop, you need to go through a process that's for you to obtain a license. And right now, like what the most recent was folks that are considered social equity, that you had to fall under a certain demographic, you had to make a certain amount of money. Maybe if you had prior convictions, you are now qualified to be able to apply to obtain these licenses to be able to open. And there's so much more nuances.
Not a red tape.
Right.
Oh,
there's so
many
much
hurdles.
There's a lot of hurdles. Just in general, just to even get the license, right? You need to go. The individuals that are applying for the licenses, you need to go get fingerprints. You need to get a background check. There's so many things.
You apply with the state, you apply with the city, you have to work with the fire department, you have to work with everyone who's permitting you. As someone who's not in the entrepreneurial seat, it doesn't make sense of why anyone would go through this business, because it's any city you work with isn't a partner, and a city should be a partner if you're paying tax dollars, if you're a functioning legal business.
Was it Commerce someone that's trying to be part? I know there's a city somewhere towards out there that they're trying to have the banks go ahead and start using weed money and all that stuff, because most cities don't want to touch it because the feds ain't approving it yet.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of. I mean, it goes back to like the cities ultimately have the final say as to like what type of cannabis business is allowable.
Okay.
Right? Like not every city allows for dispensaries.
Right.
So that's why you don't see them there. Not every city allows for distribution companies to be placed there, or manufacturing. Like County of LA, for example, in terms of manufacturing, they don't allow for butane or types. Is considered a Type 7 manufacturing facility because, for whatever reasons,
Okay, something could blow up maybe.
Yeah.
things can blow up. Most importantly, that right, things can blow up, and so those licenses have been awarded to like Adelanto, Palm Springs,
More
and,
rural
these
areas where you
desolated
can put-
areas.
right, there you
but
go.
like I said, but the point to that is the cities, the local municipalities have final say as to like what type of cannabis business is allowable
Right.
within their city.
Now with this guy, he said this with a hot mic, or did he say it knowing everybody was hearing it?
No, he was.
There
it
was a room of like 7 people
Yeah.
sitting around like just a table,
Right.
and then it was a security footage who someone just recorded it off the phone. So that's what made it a little more juicy, is because he's talking like this when
He's
no
talking
one's
freely,
around.
right.
He's talking very freely, and that's the truth. Like,
So he was pretty much saying, "Man, I love when all these kind of guys could pop up in here because at the end there's no money because they're out of business."
right now in the industry, it's so expensive. If you can see from this video, dispensaries are not paying brands. Typically back in the day, it's cash on demand. I'm not giving you weed unless you give me money. But now it's on terms. And then 30 days turns into 60 days. 60 days turns into 90
you
days.
guys turn it to the construction game, homie. It's
and that's a good way to, and that's obvious. I've never heard that analogy, right? So I'd love to hear some more feedback on that. But that's essentially what's been going on, right? And so because of this video that was leaked, pushed out, right, there was obviously uproar within the
weed community.
Within the weed community,
Okay.
right? And there's been a lot of call to like cancel or boycott off the charts and don't go and purchase off the charts. And for me, one of the things that stood out is like I kind of touched on, more licenses are being awarded, right? And these social equity licenses are typically people of color that are getting these licenses. And what's been happening is what Off the Charts has been doing, and it's not just Off the Charts, it's
lot of
the
companies.
big names, right? The Stizzies, the Catalyst, these big name shops. The reason why you see a lot more of these shops is because they're probably partnering up with these individuals that have the application. Or let's say you have an application, Gil. Stizzy would reach out to you, Off the Charts would reach out to you and say, hey, listen, we have the money, we have the backing,
We got the name.
we have the name, let's partner with you, we'll handle everything, and
Just gonna use your license.
we're just going to use your license.
So they're pretty much franchising is what they're doing by using other people's
But it's
license.
illegal to franchise, technically.
But that's pretty much what they're
that's
doing.
Yes. So when I heard let's boycott Off the Charts, obviously people are thinking on the grand scheme of things, and they're not thinking like who really owns these shops. And so I did some digging because it's something that you can find online. You type in a license number and you can see who owns it.
Give us
who's
the
on
scoops. Give us the
license.
scoops. What you got?
Right. And so we saw that, like I saw that there was a few of them with Norman as a license owner, but there's a few shops that as of late just they rebranded. Two of them being 64 and Hope, which is in Melrose, and another 64 and Hope on La Cienega. Both were known to be BIPOC, woman-owned, black-owned, social equity shop, and now they've rebranded to Off the Charts. So a lot of people then have been saying, because they're going to boycott, let's boycott them too. Let's do this, let's do that. And so I went in and I was like, let me see, does Norman have some license exposure into these shops, or does he just have a financial interest? And who then, at the end of the day, who's that really going to hurt? Is it really going to hurt Norman, or is it really going to hurt these license owners? And so I saw that for those two particular shops, Norman is not on the license of those shops. So that tells me that there's some type of financial interest as a brand, right? As a Off the Charts brand. And so that call then would be like, who are you trying to really hurt? Are you trying to hurt Norman, or are you trying to hurt the brand? Are you trying to hurt these licensed people, like these license owners,
social equity license owners at that.
Social equity license that everyone's pushing for, that wants them to see succeed? Like, where does that balance hang?
Yeah, but when it comes to like that kind of boycott of anything, you're always going to get some collateral damage. Like, let's say back in the days when they were boycotting the buses, and right? So you got bus drivers that weren't working, you got mechanics that weren't working. So they can always find something to say, hey, but these people are going to get hurt. But the reason you want to hurt those people, not hurt them specifically, you want to hurt the whole industry. That way they can go back to Norman, this is your fault. Because then you get more people pissed off at Norman. And I take it Norman's the owner who said these comments, right?
Correct.
Then everybody's gonna start getting pissed off at Norman. And if it were to work out right, especially in the weed industry, would be like, all right, we're not touching this guy, especially after what you did. Because I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the majority of people out there in the weed game aren't really big, aren't really rich. They're just right now, this is all fairly new in California, and California is kind of the state that's kind of at the forefront of all this. I would think most of the weed people are not rich people. They're just trying to start up a business, and for somebody like Norman who's that big to sit there and pretty much, it's almost like he's encouraged and he likes that these people are going out of business, because that means that's more money in his pocket.
Yeah.
And what's unfortunate is that it's a standard practice almost between all the dispensaries. It just happened to be that guy got caught. Granted, there are a lot of people who do pay their bills and, they understand that value. But no, there's a lot of people who they brag about it.
What is Norman's background? Do you guys know at all?
I don't have that. I don't have that, like his full background. Like I said, I just know from what I briefly gathered was that he has a few shops that he is on the license on. So Vista, there's San Diego.
There's about 25 Off the Charts throughout the state. So it's a big chain.
Sure.
Yeah, and a lot of them he is on. South LA, Van Nuys, Reseda.
They just took over a shop in Harbor City, a little rundown shop.
They took over a shop in Harbor
What
City.
was his response to what he said?
So he did have a response, and the response was basically saying, like, he is apologizing. He's taking quote unquote accountability for his words and his actions. And worst case scenario, if you're not in agreement to his apology, direct that anger towards him and not towards Off the Charts employees and or partners.
Yeah, see, he's trying to do the divert game. Like, yeah, you can give it to me, but don't go after the shot. In other words, don't go after my money.
Right.
Right. Hate me.
Oh,
my bank account.
Yeah, that on his end, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Send me hate mail, but don't go after my clients. No, but if you really want to hurt him, you hurt him in the pocketbook. That's that's anything. But do you think that is the weed industry ready to like have a revolt like that yet, or is it going to be one of those things that's 1 week later nobody really cares?
I think at least a lot of business owners are appreciative that this is coming to light. So another example, there's a chain, Culture Cannabis, who they recently told the distributor that they owe 4.4 million to go fuck off. Excuse my language. I don't know if I can cuss.
It's your
This is our podcast, bro. Yo, this is how you know it's his first show as a host. That's how you know he's first day on the job.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people think that it needs to be brought to light. A lot of people, it's how you go about it. And right now, a lot of people in the cannabis industry, they want to keep it street. They want to keep it, take care of it, take them out, do whatever. And it shouldn't be like
that's
that.
Not business.
That's not how we progress as an industry or as a people. So I'd say it's a positive. I would just say there needs to be more information. Everyone in social media, it's just max 60 seconds. Typically 15 seconds, that's all they watch. So
yeah, I'm curious to like know what the context was behind that whole meeting. Like what was said before. And Gil, you've been a part of this like situation of like being
in the gotcha moment.
In the gotcha moments, in like the clippable moments.
Yeah, of course.
And just only grabbing a piece
out of context.
Out of context and all that. And so I mean, Norman, if you want to hop on the show and we can get you on to like talk about it, or even just other owners that are a part of the Off the Charts platform or partnerships, and what's their take? Because I've been seeing a lot of different takes on social media from and obviously there's a lot of anger from those outside of Off the Charts. I've seen ownerships like the partners that are a part of Off the Charts that are like, hey, I see you guys and you're not supporting me, but you're showing all this anger. There's a lot of back and forth.
So, have you guys tried reaching out to Norman yet?
Not yet.
That's one thing you have to do. I mean, as a podcast, especially in the cannabis game, I'm new to the cannabis podcast world. So like with me, it didn't hit my radar. I know nothing about it. But that's why it's cool to have this. That way you hear, because I am a cannabis consumer, but I usually go to the bootleg shops.
Yeah.
Traditional.
Yeah, it's a traditional. Within the industry is that's a traditional market.
I shop for my cannabis at a traditional shop.
Exactly. We're not trapping no more.
We've grown.
That's a
We've
good
grown
one.
From the trapping.
But yeah, I think it'd be great to like reach out to Norman and ask him, what he was thinking, and just to get a little more education. Was it like, in other words, Norman has a shop, right? And we're not picking on you, by the way, Norman. You're the guy that's up there, and that's why we're bringing your name up and all that, just to let you know. So let's say Norman has a shop, but he's talking about the people that come in and say remote weed comes in there and says, here, I got 2 pounds for you, and then they go out of business. So that's why he's saying, that's good.
So essentially,
yes.
it's I'll give you this on terms. I'm gonna give you 2 pounds, and I expect you to pay me in 30 days. Then when it comes in 30 days, if you're a brand new brand, your product hasn't moved because there's no marketing. People don't know it. People are cheap and they don't want to spend on new weed that they've never tried. Right. So when it doesn't sell after 30 days, after 60 days, they're just not going to pay you. That money has been reallocated to the business as a dispensary. So now you didn't collect, let's say just small numbers, 5,000 from one shop. But now if that happens 8, 10, 15 shops, because as a new brand, a lot of people think you should try to go get into 30 shops right away, 50 shops away, when you shouldn't.
In their head, they think I'm going to blow up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. And that's the biggest, biggest mistake, biggest misconception, the biggest, and I get it because there's these new brand owners and they have this idea and they want to hit the ground running and don't realize that that's a real possibility that you put this order in and you're not going to get paid.
See, but to Norman's, I guess, what he said, right? In a private conversation, I could see people like that all the time saying stuff like that. I've worked with a lot of developers.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
That conversation is happening all the time and regularly. Like Steven brought up earlier, he's just the one that got caught.
Yep.
Saying it.
Right. And I could see that. Like, if I'm a weed owner, business owner like that, and I got 10 guys that are coming in, and in my head, I'm knowing this fool ain't gonna make it. Like, hey, but he's telling me, listen, I don't care, whatever you want, just put it on your shelf. And all right. And then at the end, our deal is if it doesn't move, I don't pay you. Hey, brother, there's your weed right there. It hasn't moved. And the deal is I get to keep it. So if I'm in the room with a bunch of guys, say, yeah, man, I love when these guys come in here and tell me that, because it's almost like in the music industry, you can do what you want, just sign me. All right,
exactly.
so they're gonna sign you, fool. They're gonna sign you. So I think that doesn't just fall on Norman. That also falls on the people that are bringing the product, and
it's being uneducated, and that's why we like to highlight it. Like, this is cannabis entrepreneur dialogue. We want to tell you how to be better entrepreneurs. We want to tell you how the industry works.
Shit, I'm already getting ready to move some stuff here,
because people think they're gonna come in and they give their entire life savings to this business, and they don't know that it's $3.3 million and 3 lawyers to make it past your first 4 years.
Wow.
It's not fair right now. Everyone thinks it's a gold rush, but
I think that's the thing also, as far as not being fair and not being educated with it. Yeah, they should know, hey, man, 9 times out of 10, your stuff's not going to sell unless you just have some major rap guy that's going to start pushing your stuff.
And even that,
if you're honestly, the success is if you give it away. You want to buy this? Okay, you could buy a cup of coffee. I'm going to give you another one to share. That's the only way that new product moves.
That's how it moves, huh?
Discounts don't work. It's BOGOs.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, when I go into a place, I typically already know what I do hybrids. I typically know what I want. And why I like traditional places more than other places, one, of course, is the price. It's much cheaper.
Sure.
But I really enjoy opening up the jar, getting the bud.
The nose.
The nose. Some place before would let you touch it and feel it, but now that the woke world, you can't touch and feel even buds. I kid. So yeah, because there is something about, it's like you go to the market and you're buying some vegetables, right?
For sure.
You're gonna get the mango. It's got to be somewhat firm, but a little bit, just an avocado, somewhat.
Sure.
So when you look at some bud, and I've gotten bud before at real shops, right, that are licensed, you can tell everything. And I open up, this stuff is dry. I'm like, dude, this stuff's been sitting here for months.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little bit of a difference. But other than that, I just started talking about my weed expeditions here. So I could see both sides of it, and I think what you guys are doing here, because I was oblivious to all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's dope because I'm already learning a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's great. And like you said, like that's the purpose of the show, is to be able to have these conversations, have representation of people that look like us in this industry. And we're having these conversations. We are part of ownership. We are we have that representation.
You got your foot in the door of the business.
Absolutely. And so we want to be able to just highlight that. And if this motivates others that look like us to say, hey, maybe I can't step into this industry for X, Y, and Z reasons, we're here to help promote that. And if we can help guide them, more power.
And just remember that this industry isn't meant for minorities to succeed. It's not meant for people with no money to come in and create generational wealth. It's meant to have I don't want to say the rich, I would say the business savvy people come in, partner, do a lot of the footwork, and then big corp is going to come in and do what they want to do.
Yeah, they're going to come and buy the whole thing. And then some of those guys that are business savvy kind of know that. And they're like, oh, I'm waiting for my big paycheck.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Just wait out. Right now, the name of the game is how long can you bleed?
But I think that's a lot.
That's a lot of businesses.
Yeah, that's a lot of business, but it's also, we have fault in that as well, because the one thing I hear a lot when we're having different conversations, like different races, like especially out here in North Hollywood, who's pushing up North Hollywood are Armenians, right? Armenians are buying homes, they're renting shops, they're opening business, and people always, it's because they're getting money. No, it's because they're business oriented and they're hustling. They're getting boots on the ground and they're taking that risk. A lot of times, us as Latinos, we don't take that risk. We sit back and we'll be the employee, and we'll be used to that paycheck every month, and it's great. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it, but I think we can't also complain and say, look, everybody else is doing it. Well, no, it's up to us to sit here and get it. So what do you think we need as far as education in order for Latinos to start progressing more in the marijuana game?
One, we need to make sure that the platform stays on the American Cholo platform so that people can see it and know it, right? But two, I think it just goes back to like having these conversations out loud and letting people know like the true nuances of what's going on within the industry. I agree. It's also
telling people the failed mistakes, the failed opportunities, the missed opportunities. Because if I know ways if you failed, I'm gonna try to avoid that.
Nice.
And that's all this industry is. Like the past 7 years I've been in this, past 6 years I've been in this, I've just seen people fail and fail and fail and fail and pivot. And that's what Danny has honestly really taught me in this industry is you pivot. Whenever you can't see this, you don't quit. You don't try to break it down. You just move out the way. You flow like water.
And you learn from your mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's a lot of gatekeeping within this industry, just through the legacy market, just through like people that have been doing this for so long. They gatekeep their information, and for me, I think that if we want to succeed, if we want to see others succeed, we have to be able to share that knowledge, whether it was good or bad. Just like to your point,
You're getting the cheat code, like, hey, bro, don't do this. Don't get your whole life savings and invest in all this stuff and go to 20 shops and try one shop. And if you see it starts working at this shop, then you can go to the next shop and say, listen, man, I've had this stuff here for 6 months. It's moving at this rate. Now I know that instead of giving this guy 2 or 3 pounds, it's only selling 1 pound every 6 months.
Exactly.
So now I know I can break in, get a QP and give him every 2 weeks, something like that, where it's making sense, right?
Right.
And there's a big state. Your product might not work in LA, but doesn't mean it's not going to work in San Luis Obispo. Or it's not going to work in Berkeley.
Right.
You just got to find your market.
For sure. So, move on with our guest.
Yes.
Right. I'm sure a lot of the viewers, a lot of the listeners on this platform know your story, Gil. But not so many that are our viewers,
right?
Not normal viewers. But just to give a brief background of yourself, man. I know you grew up in the North Hollywood area. Can you share with us a little bit more of that, and also give us what the cannabis culture was like growing up in the neighborhood that you were in?
Okay, so to make it short, I was a dirtbag in the 90s. Now I'm not. Now.
There you go. Bam.
there it is.
Case closed.
That was a little bit less about dirtbag. No, long story short, I been in North Hollywood since 1981. I actually came here as a kid from Honduras, Central America. I've never left except for a couple of jail stints I did here and there. I was a gangbanger out here from 1989. I did about 5 years, some change, almost 6 years. Somebody's phone's going off. Was that was? You hear that?
That was a cat or something.
Oh, gee. There you go. Welcome
to North Hollywood,
baby. So we got the crazy homeless lady out there. I'll keep going forward. So I started gangbang 89. By 99, that was the third time I got off parole, and I made the decision to change my life. And after that, I started working construction, became a contractor for about 8-10 years, and now I work as a supervisor foreman for another company doing structural concrete. I do the podcast thing, and I've started making this platform so we can have conversations like this to educate ourselves, because that's what I think that's very lacking in our community. Maybe not so much in, like, let's say, the typical Mexicano Univision where it's all Spanish speaking. Obviously they have their platforms,
sure,
but as far as Raza, Chicano, Latinos, I say Calimac, we really don't have it. We have a lot of platforms that talk drama, talk chisme, and that's all great. I'm not talking down on it, because I watch that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about, but we have a bunch of TMZs, but we don't have any CNN. We don't have any actual stuff where you can educate ourselves, and that's what I'm here to do.
Nice, man. And so growing up, during your gangbanging days,
right?
What was the cannabis scene like, if you can remember? And what were some of the stigmas behind that lifestyle and cannabis use back then?
The first bud I smoked was obviously Mexican dirt weed, bro. Where back then you get in a sack, and it's full of seeds, bro. It's like those Cheech and Chong movies. You got the weed and you're just like pink, pink. You're just throwing the seeds and the stems away. It was nothing like what it is today. And this was, to me, the first time I ever smoked, I was actually a kid. I was like 86. I was like 11 years old. But I only smoked one time. Didn't really do it after until about 89. I'm about 14 years old. And then I became a frequent smoker. By 90, 91, that's when I started getting to the better buds, which was like a chocolate Thai or other stuff.
Okay.
And that to us was like champagne, homeboy, right? Because you're smoking the dirt weed all day long, and then hey, I got the hookup, and a guy would come with a nugget about like this for like $40, bro. It was like an eighth for like $40, and where he was smoking in bowls, if you're balling out, you're making a joint out of it, but you could definitely tell the difference at the time, which was the better weed.
Sure.
I dabbled in selling bud. I would buy the quarter pounds of QPs of all pressed straight. Same thing. The Mexican,
Straight brick.
straight Mexican weed, bro. And then I'll break it down into like either ounces or eighths, whatever, 20s, whatever it was. Half of the time I'd smoke most of the weed, more than I would sell, to be completely honest with you. And ever since then, I pretty much I smoked, bro. I stopped smoking for, I would say, maybe 6 or 7 years. I started getting really into my construction company, and I was having that issue that you hear a lot of people have, that they say they don't smoke anymore. I was starting to get paranoid. I was starting to because what it was is I was smoking Indo at that time. But that time there was no hybrid. It wasn't that. So it was either pretty much Indo, whatever else you had, right? So I was getting Indo, and what I found myself doing, and I think this is what people do when they start getting paranoid, you're smoking, and then you start thinking work. You start thinking this, some people may think problems. Me, it was work. So I work with a lot of math, right? And if you're wrong in the math, your foundation is too high, too low. Our mistakes is not like a framer where they can put some nails out and move. Our mistakes means you're getting a jackhammer, you're getting a breaker out there, and you're losing your ass on this job. So I had one job that I almost screwed up on by not reading something correctly, and I was just praying to God, if you just get me out of this, make this PSI come up to strength, I will not smoke. And and it came up to strength, and if I wouldn't have done, if it would have come out wrong, I would have been losing, I don't know, $40,000-$50,000, bro. And I'm young. I'm probably in my early 30s at this time. So I stopped smoking completely. Then I had an incident with my brother passing away, and I lost my shit. And then I ended up, they ended up putting me on some meds and stuff to try to, bring me. And I just didn't like the way I felt, bro. I did not like it. And my wife was like, why don't you try this? And I was like, you know what? At this point, I'll try anything. I started smoking again, and it completely helped me, like, just mellow down, bro. It really did. I could say it really did. I got off all those meds. I didn't like it, and ever since then, now I don't smoke every day.
Sure.
I smoke. I'm like how the guy's a casual drinker. I'll smoke Friday and Saturday.
Right.
Sunday, very rarely, unless I'm out. Like right now, I'm not drinking beer, so I'll smoke me a joint. Like even if I go to a bar with my wife and my brother-in-law, I'll take me a couple joints. Yeah. I'll go outside. I'll come back inside. By the time they're already buzzed and everything, I feel like I'm buzzed too. But I'm just smoking. But to me, the smoking, I mean the weed, as far as getting decriminalized in California, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah,
I think it's a wonderful thing. But I am definitely a user of cannabis. It's funny because sometimes I'll be in here, like when we do studio sessions in here, I'll take a toke and you'll see some of these young guys like, you smoke, yo? I'm like, fool, I started this gangster shit.
Yeah, there you go. right.
What you mean? But that's my whole pretty much thing on weed, bro.
Nice, man. And you touched on a few things that I definitely wanted to touch on, was especially at least on the construction tip. Are there barriers like of entry if you do like use cannabis on a daily?
Yes.
And what does that look like for folks that may be interested in that field?
Well, I believe that if in certain like union companies, they're going to test you randomly, or they're going to test you here and there, or just to try to get in the job. I think though, once you get in, I don't think the testing is that like often or whatnot. I do completely understand it though. Like if you're a crane operator, I don't want the crane operator coming in high. Sure. If you're on some heavy equipment, I don't want to. And any type of construction, you shouldn't come in high regardless. But it's just like drinking beer. It's you could drink beer on the weekends. You shouldn't be drinking beer on the job.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing. Weed, the thing that I do believe has kind of burned it for everybody, because some people do. They think it's fine, and to me, nah. I mean, you cannot be smoking on certain jobs or any jobs, period, unless you work at a studio. Like I say, if Chris was back there right now smoking, it wouldn't be a problem. There's certain jobs that you can, right?
Sure.
But there's certain jobs, especially in construction. Construction is dangerous. You make a mistake, and especially like let's say if you're working and you just smoke because I know some guys that would smoke a joint in the morning, right? Right before they go to work.
Right.
If you smoke that joint in the morning, you're on a construction site, you cut your finger off, you go to the doctor, the first thing they do is they take blood.
Yeah.
They take blood. If they see weed in your system, you're done. Your case is gone. You're gonna go home with a chopped up finger. They'll probably give you the other one in the bag, and you got no lawsuit, fool. You're absolutely done. So that's another thing that people really need to look at when they're smoking, or they're smoking in the morning. There's consequence to this. I've had guys on the job that I've kicked out, and this is maybe a year or two ago, and I'm like, hey, fool, what are you doing? Like, and there's sub guys, what? Smoking, and you can smell the whole job site, but in his head, because he's across the street, it's fine, and he hasn't started working. Like, no, it doesn't work like that, fool.
Yeah.
It's like me doing rails in front of the owner before I start work and say, what, it's my time off. Like, no. So I think there's people that have gotten too lax in it because you hear it's legal. And my only gripe I really have is I think that not just weed, but a lot of cannabis products are being majorly abused by younger people. And when I say that, I say like, and maybe you guys can correct me on this. I don't see the need for like those waxes, for all this, like you got all it. To me, it's like, fool, just get some heroin, carnal. Like, I mean, for real.
Yeah.
Just,
I get what you're saying.
Why even mess around? Just go get some carga, put it in a thing, and sniff it, because that's what you're doing. Because I see this guy's like, oh, I'm dabbing. To me, that is not what cannabis was meant for.
Sure.
I think most people do it. One, they end up thinking it's cooler because I'm getting more high, because now it's a competition of weed. To me, I can get a joint amongst us three. I'm good, bro. I'll take 3 or 4 hits, and there'll still be a little bit of joint left over, and after that, we'll take some more. Nowadays, it's like, that's más chingón, way. I smoked a blunt to the head. Well, congratulations, fool. It's only so high you're gonna get.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think. I think it's so oversaturated with stuff that everybody's trying to outdo themselves of what they smoke or what they can do more.
That's an interesting take, and I'm sure Steven, as the dabber on the table.
There it is.
I'm excited to hear what Steven got to say about this.
Let's run it.
Okay, so
He put his chest on.
He saw that.
Let me put in my glasses. No, so like specifically with concentrate. So me, a little backstory. I'm a cancer survivor, and I'm also an amputee. So I'm missing the lower part of my left leg.
Jesus, I can't argue that shit.
So I deal with pain 24/7, and it's not like a 1, it's not like a 2. It's like I wake up and I'm in a 6.
Oh God.
So I look at concentrates because it's a concentrated form of cannabis. It's a medicinal product. But yes, people abuse it. People abuse cannabis all day long. I'm not saying like you should try to be Mr. 420. Like you should use it to help you get through your day. It's plant over pills. You talked about it earlier. Like
right.
I going through cancer got stupid amount of pain pills, nerve pills, everything, and it was like you take it and you fuck up the rest of your future because you're dealing with nerves, or you just kind of find your alternative. And
yeah, but with Steve here, he's got every excuse in the book. I mean, really.
No,
and it's not an excuse. Okay, that's what that stuff was meant for.
That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
It was like I saw on either Netflix or Prime, they had one document. Well, actually, it was a movie on OxyContin when OxyContin first came out, and these guys were pushing it. And there's this one guy who reminded me of your story. He was a guy who messed up his back during work, and I mean really destroyed it, where guys just waking up in pain every morning, every day, and finally they gave him this pill, and it's OxyContin, and it's like, oh my God, this is working great. Yeah. And it came out after that OxyContin was really made for stage 4 cancer people who were gonna die. There was no if, but I'm just trying to reduce the pain. Yeah. So like that, the waxes, it's perfectly made for somebody who has the issues you have health-wise, for somebody who has like chronic back pain. Like there's certain pains that absolutely
sure.
But for Charlie that's just going to high school with the boys.
and then also like when I'm dabbing, I'm not putting grams of globs. I'm not being.
But you know
excessive.
what I'm talking about.
No, for sure.
Oh, bro.
There's those influencers out there, right?
Yes.
And the quote unquote influencer, just everyone, right? Like, and I get it. I'm not that way either. Like
But they'll say it's because you're old, Gil.
Yeah. All of us. Right.
It would be like us just really doing to me, it's like this. It's like doing the Cheech and Chong joint every day.
Yeah.
It's cool for a party here.
I mean,
and there.
I agree, because it's like smoking a joint is like having a beer, and if you take a dab, it's like taking a shot. Like one's gonna
that
get you
makes so
there,
much
and then
sense.
one's gonna be there.
Okay, and that's a great analogy
That
for
is a
those,
great
right?
analogy. Yeah,
because
people who don't know.
To be fair, right? Like growing up, like with the drinking scene too, like we drank to get fucked up.
Yes.
Right? Like that was the purpose for us drinking early on. And so like there's still similarities.
Makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely,
Yeah, for sure.
right, for that. But the way that you created that analogy of a joint as a beer and a dab as a shot, I think that's a perfect analogy for that.
So
At least with that alcoholic.
So you're drinking shots to numb the pain, huh, fool?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Oh man, let's get into the podcast, man. The American Cholo podcast. I know you got started in 2019. Share with us the reasoning behind why you got started with the show.
The actual reason was because the cops raided my pad, fool.
Oh shit. Okay.
They raided my pad for something that really had nothing to do with me, right? And they believed that I was, I don't know, head of this crime syndicate, and I'm making it more than what it is, but it was some crime shit that was going on. I got taken out of my my car driving to do payroll that day for work. Cop pulls me over, two of them. I'm filming, and he's like, no, don't worry. This is before YouTube and everything, right? And it was down the street from my house. And he gets me outside. He said, what's your name? I said, you already know if you pull me over. He's doesn't handcuff me yet, and as I'm sitting here talking to the cop like this, I got my back to the wall. I see about 20 cop cars going by. I'm thinking it's a procession for a funeral, right? And then I said, and he he gives the 4, whatever they do, like all clear. And I said, what's up with those guys? And he tells me, oh, they're going to your house right now. I said, bullshit. I'm still thinking right now, nah, you're full of shit. He's like, look at the ghetto bird. I look right over my house. I said, damn, he's like, yeah, man, and he told me, he's like, we just had a meeting about you about 4 or 5 in the morning. This was about 8 in the morning, 7, they raided my pad. He's like, we just had a meeting about you. And he told me, we have a picture of you here with these other guys. And I said, listen, man, I don't know what you guys are looking at, but you got the wrong guy. Because I already know I got nothing criminal going on. The crazy part was, this was around Christmas time, and I had noticed him. For like the last 2 days, there was cop cars on every block surrounding my house, but like 2 blocks away, or 3 blocks. And I had told my wife, I said, hey, do you see the cops taking our house out? And she said, you're crazy, you're paranoid. I said, okay. Sure enough, they ended up getting me. They tried to say I was a witness, and I said, okay, well, we got to take you back to your house. I said, well, let's go. And they said, turn around. I said, turn around for what? We got to cuff you up. I said, wait a minute, I'm a witness, ain't I? I said, when do you guys cuff up white witnesses? And the guy just kind of looks at me because he was just black and white. And then here comes fucking Alonzo from training day. Some big old brother and some other Latino or güero, right? They come in one of those challengers, and it said, what's the problem? He said, he won't cuff up. What? He gets in my face, motherfucker, you ain't gonna cut. And I'm like, I already know where this is going. If I don't do it, I'm gonna get the beat down, homie. Yeah. That's just how it goes, right? And people say, oh, you don't know how to do it. So I'm like, motherfucker, whatever. I turn around, they cuff me, take me back to my house. I'm talking shit to the officers because they have my father-in-law and my mother-in-law handcuffed. They're in their late 70s, bro. And I'm like, the fuck's wrong with you guys? And I start talking to the sergeant, and then little by little takes my cuffs off. And then little by little he starts seeing and I'm talking, and I'm not screaming at the guys. I'm just saying, look what you guys are doing, man. You guys are handcuffing 70-year-old people. You guys are doing this. You guys are doing this. You guys got my wife. What? There was no need for all this. You got the wrong guy. And got me in our house, and the cops are all looking around my house. Nice house. I said, yeah, I've been working for a very long time to have this house. He's like, I wouldn't have known this was a nice, like this nice inside here. I said, dude, I work for a living, homie. And after that, they did whatever they do, flipped over my pad, and they left. I went back to my truck to get my phone because I told me I need my phone for payroll. They took my phone, bro. They took my phone, disappeared. I tried to get the cameras. All their cameras were off. So all that stuff to me was like, I went to the police station that same day in Van Nuys. I cussed out the cops. I said, you motherfuckers got the wrong guy. You're sitting here thinking I was going to be in the county jail. Where's my phone? Oh, they just kept making excuses after excuses. Never got it back. But that right there really put a fire under me, bro. And I was like, you sons of bitches want to know who I am? This is who I am. I'm the guy in the hood that never left the hood. I bought a house in my neighborhood. I'm still giving homies jobs. I'm the guy that instead of giving the homies a strap like I would back in the day, I'm giving them a tape measure and a hammer, a real hammer, and tell them, here, let me help you change your life, kid.
Yeah.
That's who I was. I have cameras all over my pad, and then the one of the detectives said, hey, can I get your cameras? If not, I'm gonna have to get a warrant. Take them. He's like, what am I gonna see on those cameras? I said, what you're gonna see is me on the fucking ladder putting up Christmas lights. That's all you're gonna see. And sure enough, after they came back and half-ass apologized, and I say, where's my phone? And they couldn't. They knew it. They knew it. So after that, I was done, clear. But I said, all right. So you guys got me under a microscope. Well, here you go. And that was the catalyst of me opening up the channel. And at first, it wasn't a podcast. It was like 1 year of me just making, I guess you can call them quote unquote gang videos, but every gang video, every gang story that I had, there was a message behind it.
Yeah.
Always, bro.
Yeah.
It was never, I can't, no. It was always a message. And it always is. Even when I talk whatever it is, it's always a message. And that's one thing that I've always been a fan of YouTube. And I saw what was out there at the time because when I started doing this, I can't really say there was no homies really doing it the way we were doing it at all. There was nobody there that really had, I don't know if it was the backbone or just los huevos to sit there and say, you know what, gangs are destroying us, homie. And this is coming from a guy, I love my hood, homie. I was willing to die and kill for my hood. All my homies know that grew up with me. And even if you're young, you can ask, they'll say, yeah, that fool's with it. But I love my hood enough to know that what I was doing was a mistake. Mm-hmm. And now, instead of telling that little young homie, yeah, get that. Nah, homie, I'm going to tell me, fool, that's all lies, homie. I'm the guy that will tell you. And they kind of know it, but the problem is they're so young that, they're going to just follow the cool guy, which is the cool guy is saying, fuck it, let's do this. But we'll all eventually wake up and say what's right and wrong. But that's pretty much why I started the platform. Homie.
Yeah. And I've been watching you for a while. I think with the first episode that I watched was I can't think of the name, but the cat had a book where he was in a gang and then went to the Marines.
Oh yeah.
And so he wrote
Master Sergeant
a book.
No, that was Cortez.
Yeah. But I like just the stories behind, like you said.
Florencia.
Yeah, like you said, everyone, although they were quote unquote gang stories, right? It had some type of messaging, and each one of your guests felt like you brought them on there to be able to, like, not only talk about what they were going through and how they got to, but what that after messaging was like.
Right. One of the main things that I saw that even from the beginning of time of movies, when we've been in movies, we've always been portrayed in a certain light, right? And I felt that we had never really had a platform that gave either former gang members, criminals, whatever, what have you, a light to be humanized, to show, hey man, I'm more than just a killer, I'm more than just a gangbanger. There is a person behind this, and that's what I'm the face of. I'm the face of American Cholo, which is, I was a gangbanger, homie. I'm still in the neighborhood. I'm right here. I go across the street. I'm still here. You can see it, bro. But I'm also that structural guy at work that, damn, that fool knows his shit. That fool's running work. That fool's doing this. I'm in meetings with guys, architects, engineers, and they all know that's American Cholo. Like, they all know what's up, Gil. They all know. I don't hide it from anybody at work.
Yeah.
The podcast, if anything, I'll give you a sticker. I don't hide from who I am because I don't have to, bro.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm trying to show, that we're much more than that, and our past doesn't necessarily have to dictate what our future is going to be.
Absolutely. What was it like the first time that you were out on the streets and someone recognized you as the American Cholo? Like, what can you give me, like, what that felt like? What were your thoughts when that happened?
It still feels pretty cool. It felt cool then, bro. I mean, I've had one guy, I remember we're at a place that was a Conejo thing. Hey, can I get your autograph? I'm like, for reals, bro? Like, yeah, bro. He's like, that's the first. No? Had his book ready. He was getting all the artists.
Oh, nice.
I did it. And just seeing people, their reaction, like I'm at a job site. There was a guy, he was working across the street. And a lot of times, believe it or not, they don't recognize me. They recognize the voice.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
It's something about the voice, right? Yeah. And I'm talking, and then the guy's like, Kill? No, that's a Kill? I said, what's up? I'm like, don't tell nobody, homie. He's like, no. He's like, oh, man. That was during the Tiger situation, man. He's like, hey, homie, thank you for what you're doing for us, homie. And to me, that's always the reward in it, because not even 99% of the time when I hear somebody tells me, thank you for what you're doing. All the lame haters, all those people with comments, that's just people, you know, with zero lives and want to get a reaction out of you, which I don't give them a reaction anymore. That's one thing I've learned, right? But as far as now, it happens more frequent than not. Some guys were out there cutting a tree from across the street from my house like about 3 weeks ago. It was a bunch of city workers, and I'm going out, and the guy's like, kill? I said, oh shit. And then he goes, oh, that's a podcaster. Like, so it happens a lot more, which to me is cool because that means the message is getting larger and larger. And,
right.
and that's what the point is. The point is for us to have that message and to, speak our truths, homie, because we really don't have that.
Yeah. Have you experienced imposter syndrome?
As far as like
just in like with like just now that like you have this large platform, you have like this recognition, like do you ever get that like feeling of like I shouldn't be doing this, or I should be continuing to do this? Or
to me, I'm motivated to just keep on doing it because I'm seeing the fruits of our labors. And when I say our labors, it's myself, my wife, Chris, Black Chris, Boo Boo, the whole crew of us here.
Sacrifices.
Yeah, the sacrifices. Chris has been with us for years now, where we were doing it out of our house with a little webcam like this,
Right.
And then little by little, let me tell you a little humbling story that happened yesterday. I'm cleaning the studio here, right? When I mean clean, I did a full clean.
it looks nice, by the way.
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Yeah.
So and then I went through a bunch of junk that I had. Pretty much it was like the end of major construction in here. I had a bunch of stuff in the green room and the bathroom in there. I condensed it. I started throwing stuff away. That's what I was telling you. I'm throwing all kinds of, and I found this little battery that was big old long, goofy looking type battery. It was for one of those Amazon 4K camera that will give you the best. And it's one of the ones that probably costs like, I don't know, $200 or something like that, $100.
Right.
And I caught myself saying, oh man, look, what did I tell myself? I was like, look at this trash I was using. I said, wait. No, it wasn't trash. It's what you were willing to invest in yourself at the time with. Mm-hmm. And people who have stuff like this, it's not trash to them, just like it wasn't trash to me then. And this is just me, myself, and it was right here because I found it somewhere in this thing, right? I'm like, no, this ain't trash. This is, to me, this is progressing. This is me doing my thing. And anybody who's using stuff like that and all that, they're just where I was at a few years back. So I had to humble myself real quick and just say, nah, bro, you didn't start like this, because there's other people that are going to look at this and say, oh, that's trash. I mean, I'm using a $20,000 camera.
Sure.
It's levels to this, but that was just a little humbling thing that happened to me. And I think it's good.
Yeah.
It's good because that says like, hey, slow down. All this, and this isn't huge by any means, but this isn't small. Could all be gone just by one bad mistake.
Mm-hmm. That's true, man. And it's always great to like just look back at how far you've come. Even if those that are on the podcast game or wanting to get started, like I go back and listen to like my first few interviews, and man, they were bad. But it's one of those things like, damn, I've come a long way.
Yes.
We've learned through different strategies and different, like even today's interview, like I'm going through a whole different way of performing this, and Steven knows this, right? And so just coming up with that game plan, I think, is fucking important.
Absolutely. You got to have a game plan. You have to set goals. To me, though, when people say, what do I need to do? I said, just get on your phone and just start recording.
Yeah.
Just start recording. What about whatever you want to talk about? And another thing is, like, if you got a YouTube channel, you have to share with all your family and friends that you have. And people say, well, why is that? Well, if you're too embarrassed to show your videos to your family and friends, how are you going to feel showing them to the people you don't even know?
Damn, bars.
That is
bars.
That is straight. Yeah, that's something that I struggled with early on.
Yeah, no, that's
was that like, damn, they're gonna think something of me.
Yeah, my family thought I was crazy. I mean, straight up, bro. I mean, everybody like, what? You're crazy, dude. All right, so I told my wife, in 6 months, if I don't break 1,000 in 6 months, and back then it was so difficult. Like people think now, oh man, I got 5,000. Yeah, you can do that now because there's so many raza platforms out there now. So now it's norm. Back then, no, it was taboo to have a cholo on a podcast like that. There really wasn't, bro. So back then, I told my wife, I started like in October, November. I said, if by June I don't break 1,000 subscribers, I'm gone. That was a deal.
Yeah.
And we broke it. So I gave myself goals.
Yeah.
People still give me stuff for, you said 100,000. Yeah, I did say 100,000 that in the first year that I was going to take off, right? And I meant it. The difference is that we had that moment with the Tiger situation, which we did as a platform that was a platform that would have had 1 million to do that. And we had less, which showed me, all right, brother, we got the voice, we got the platform, and after they edited clips, that destroyed the whole thing. But to me, it was just, I felt frustrated. Like, I want people to work networking together, as far as like me saying, okay, listen, man, we got 30,000 subs. Why can't you go one person and go tell them, hey, go subscribe? Because to me, I feel like it's a lost cause as far as politically, if you can't get 100,000 people to sit there and, click a button. And I'm still trying to get there, and I'm going to get there, but
sure.
To me, I think we're about to break 80,000 this month. That's dope. I'm still looking for that 100K, which hopefully will come this year. But even if it doesn't, the voice is still here, brother, and the platform's here, and nobody can deny that.
Going viral, man. What's the pros and cons behind? Because you've obviously, like, it's already happened, and
we opened the show with something that went viral.
Yeah, and you've you touched on it a few times with the Tyga situation, right? What was that like, going viral on something like that? And I know it's happened multiple times, but what have been the pros and the cons that people may not know?
It has a great strain on your family. That's one thing that people don't see, how much that affects your family. The Tiger situation, it was like a whole week and some change that was building up that a lot of people didn't see. I don't even think I ever spoke about it. Like, for instance, I was driving down to San Diego. We're gonna go spend the weekend out there, or like 3 or 4 days out there. It was my wife, myself, my cuñado Sharky, his wife, Lisa, and Becky, my other cuñada. We had a carload. And while I'm driving down there, I keep getting phone calls. Hey, this thing's picking up steam. This thing's picking up steam. This thing's picking up steam. And then finally, I'm on the horn with two gentlemen. One first, hey, man, I'm going to get you in touch with this other guy. He's in the industry. They want to talk to you. Then he calls me, and then I'm on three-way. And I'm telling him, I'm a speaker. We're all listening to this at the same time. They keep canceling me all these Airbnbs I had. It was crazy. And I'm driving. And I'm like, what the hell? At the end of this whole drive, Tiger's gonna sit down and talk to somebody. They don't know who it's gonna be yet. We're trying to tell him he should talk to you. They're gonna go to Power 106, but they say if he goes and talks to just Sour Milk and somebody else, that they're gonna say, oh, you're just BSing. They're gonna try to this. I'm there for 3 or 4 days. These phone calls keep coming in. They finally get the phone call. That's it, Gil. You're going to sit down and talk to him, and it's Tuesday. Can you make it? I said, absolutely. I'll be back in town. And all this time, I'm like, dude, this is exciting, dude. Sure, this is great. This is great for us. And eventually, it happened. I'm sitting there. I went by myself. He showed up maybe like 2 hours late. It is what it is, bro. Right. At this time, we're having a great conversation with DJ Sour Milk, and I can't remember the other DJ guy's name. And we're making plans about, hey, man, we can do some podcasting. Gil would like to come on with you. In other words, Gil is getting his foot in the door. This is what's happening right now at this moment. It is. The doors are opening. You're gonna go into the street. This is happening. These DJs want to mess with you. So other people, all kind of people are hitting my DM that are famous, bro. Hey, man, we appreciate what you're doing. La la la. It's great. And I'm talking about a lot. Latinos. Hey, girl. Boom. The meeting happens. I think it went great. Especially the next day when I hear, hey, he took the video down. Boom. That wasn't a win for me, bro. That was a win for us, because to me, it proved that if we really come together on any issue, we got power. And that power showed that a guy who really didn't have to, that's why I'll give Tiger all his credit. He didn't have to, bro. But he was classy enough to say, you know what, screw it. Screw those $250,000 that I paid for this video. I'm gone. It's not worth my fan base. It's not worth me having all this heat on us. That showed that if we really come together, it's a great thing. Fast forward, I think it was less than 24 hours after the Tiger situation took it down. Boom, the video comes out with that edited clip. He's saying the ER word completely out of context.
Oh, that's right.
That's how quick it switched. You know what happened there? All those doors that I told you was opening, they all shut in my face, bro. They all shut in my face. All those people, no more. I've never put them on blast. The Latino actors, producers, everybody who has hit me up, I've never, and I still won't. It is what it is. I'm still here. Yeah. They all shut the doors on me. The industry pretty much was trying to destroy me and say, this is what happens to somebody who goes against the grain. That's what it was, the message. The message was, if you speak up, this is what you got coming. But what they didn't know is I got a fight in me, homie. I sat on that chair, but it was in my game room, in the corner, and I'm just going to town, fool. And my wife knows I'm on gangbanging mode, homie. And I'm just going to town. I ain't going out like no sucker. People thought that I was going to put my head in the sand and I'm canceled. I'm gone, bro. Fuck no. Why? Because I know the truth stood behind me. So I sat there and fought. I cleared my name. Some people for the rest of their life was, oh, you're this, you're that. So what? They say I'm a punk too, but I ain't no punk. I don't got to prove them nothing, you know? So that's how quick I knew, and that was a great learning experience. And I talked to some brothers that are in the industry, and they said, welcome to the industry, girl. You know, one way or another, where they said that was the day that, I can right now say, F this person, F this person, F this person. Guess what? That'll go viral. If I was really saying F this person, F this person.
Sure.
But that's just not my get down. My get down was have the conversation, and we did have the conversation. But that's what people don't see, was that roller coaster ride, because that's something that my wife had to take. My daughter's married to an African American man, right? She calls me and she's like, Dad, what the hell are they saying about you? I said, sweetie, don't even worry. She's like, you have always taught me, don't be racist, don't be this, don't be that. Race has never even came out of your vocabulary. And this was from a gangbanger, fool. I've never raised my daughter like that, ever. It's never even been a conversation about, oh, you're marrying a black man. No, to me, you're marrying a man, and as long as this man treats you the right way, I got no problem. That's it, homie. And my daughter, my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, she's biracial, beautiful kid. So then that's when all the rumors start. It's just a lot of baggage that comes with it that affects the family that I think a lot of people just don't see, homie. Yeah. And that's why they sometimes, why do you act like this? Because I got to fight for mine. If I just sat down and let everybody sucker punch me and talk all that shit, then what's the point of having a voice, homie? That means you're just a chump. And one thing I'm not a chump, but the difference is that a lot of people who want to just keep portraying themselves as gangsters, as this, a real gangster doesn't have to demonstrate to anybody, homie. Have to prove to anybody that he's gangster. You just know it. And that's my mentality. Now, I don't got to go out there and keep proving all this. I know what it is.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, man. And a lot of people, like you said, like don't know the ins and outs. It's like the real stories behind why shit happens.
Yeah,
and why shit cracks.
They just see a little clip somewhere and they think that's it.
Yeah. Talk to us about this studio, man. Like, when did the conversation start about getting the studio? And is there like business 101 with the studio that you had to like kind of learn?
Well, I'm learning even now. I'm fortunate enough to know how to run a business, how to navigate stuff, how to treat it as a business. And sometimes people forget to treat it as a business. And at the end of the day, this is a business, right?
Yep.
There was always, well, not always, for the last couple years, we've my wife and I, we need a studio because it was just tough, bringing people in your house all the time and all that stuff. But that's just where I started, right? I wish I had the money, like I said, a weed grower. I wish I had the money to open up a shop, do this, put my own stuff out there, but I did not. It was not. It didn't make sense at the time to just sit here and say, "Hey, I'm a guy who just came on YouTube. I got 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna invest $20,000-$30,000 into a studio."
Straight up, bro. That's where we're at, right?
So I came and actually looked at this place before, and it was too expensive. All right, so I was like, nah, because to me, I've always been business-wise, okay, I'm going to buy a car. This is how much I'm going to spend. I'm going to buy a house. This is how much I'm going to spend.
Budgeting.
I'm budgeting, bro. Yes, I'm budgeting. So I was like, I'm not going to go get a studio and be stressed out every year to make that fucking payment. I'm not. I refuse to. Just like I'm not going to go out there, even though I can go out there and buy me a nice Mercedes-Benz, have $1,500 payment, and be rolling, but I miss 1-2 days of work. I'm like, damn, dude, I got to come up with that money. Yep, I'm not trying to do that, bro. So eventually, when that three-finger shit happened, when that jackass, went to my pad when I wasn't there, the homie calls me up after that and tells me, hey, for you to get out of there, man, come look at the spot. Now, I already had looked at it before. And he's like, Gil, come on. I'll work with you. And we came, we looked at it. And yeah, he worked out a good deal with us, bro. Me and my partner Bruno, homie. He worked out it's not cheap, but it's not insane. It's reasonable, bro.
Sure.
And he let me pretty much do what I wanted to do construction wise in here. There was a wall here, there was some other stuff, and I came in here and I looked. I said, all right, I know what I can do here. I do construction, bro. As soon as I came in, I got a paper. I told everybody I'm going to put a glass window, studio window there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to set the cameras. This whole thing that you see like this, table, that's the only thing I didn't know was a table. But I found out when I saw that's going to work perfect right there, right? For all the boards and everything. This was already, so I just started in my head drawing up what it was going to be. And now this is the final product, bro. And I couldn't be any happier. I really couldn't. It was a lot of work. I was in here. Boo Boo was in the ducks. It was my homeboy Bob painting, Cholo bitch. It was a big family thing to come in here. My homeboy Rusco came in clean, and we were in here working for about a month just getting this place ready. I pretty much didn't do any podcasting at all for a month. I was just in here just working, and pretty much just yesterday was it was almost like when we left Afghanistan and Iraq, but even though I did a better job than how they did, I packed all my stuff yesterday, cleaned everything out, and said, all right, I took my drills out of here. I said, major construction is done in the American Cholo Studios, bro. Then we got this, so guys like yourselves come in here, do your podcasting, have your field, have your logo in here, and that way we can start making some content, brother.
What are some of the goals that you have with this space, man? I mean, you've obviously put in a lot of time and money into this, and as you mentioned, it's a business, right?
Yes, it's a business.
What goals have you put in place to get that return on your investment, and what is that like? How hard was it to create this plan?
The goal that I've recently hit is I started renting the place out, and that's helping me with the offset of not just the rent, because there's a lot of stuff that people don't see. Okay, the rent is one thing, keeping that fridge full is another, keeping the green room full of chips so Chris can eat is another, paying for the engineer,
sure, paying
for new software that I'm finding, whether it's AI or anything else. There's a bunch of stuff in the behind the scenes that you're paying for that a lot of people just don't see. You know, that's one thing. But to me, the main thing that I've noticed is that I am now, able to rent the place out. And my thing would be where it'd be nice to have a set schedule with other people renting the place out, and then eventually, making a profit on the place, because that way it gives me more range to do more stuff.
Yeah.
And also, it's kind of cool that I get to, like Boo Boo has his podcast, Notorious One should be coming back here pretty soon. What's the Word podcast with Doughboy Tony, and we're getting more. You guys are coming on board. To me, I love that I can help you guys out and have us grow together. That's what it's about, homie. It's about us growing together. Just like I've seen how the YouTube has the landscape has changed from the last 4 to 5 years to having almost zero podcasts as far as LA-based, Chicano-based, Raza-based out here, to now having so many, homie, which it's a good thing, because at the end, the cream will always rise to the top.
Yeah. Okay. How difficult is it to navigate like all the different personalities that are already in the studio, and maybe that you foresee, because it's scheduling, like you touched on it, right? But it's also trying to meet demands and do all it's becoming something more than probably you thought it would be, right?
Yes and no. I deal with this at work all day long. Okay. I've been doing the structural concrete thing for so long. I think at the highest peak, I had a partner out of Norco. I think we had about 80 employees. So each one of those employees is a different personality.
Absolutely.
Right? And each one of those foremans that I've dealt with back then was a different personality. So I've learned to juggle where I know your personality, you guys don't get along, I got to make it work. I am great at that. I am great at scheduling.
Yeah.
I am great at looking at a situation and saying, all right, dude, this is what I need to get this job done. But yeah, you have to deal with that personality. I had a small, it wasn't an issue with one of my person that comes in here all the time. I won't say any names. They know who they are. and they were getting bumped from one of their time slots.
Yeah.
And they felt a certain way. I politely say, well, this is what it is, because, and this might be good for some of the guys who come in here and ladies who come in here right to here. They're not cleaning the toilets and scrubbing like I was yesterday. All right. Right now, my back's hurting. I still got a brace on from work. I'm on my knees. I'm scrubbing over here. I'm moving this stuff. I'm cleaning over there. I took all those chairs. I'm cleaning that. I'm running wires. I'm doing all that. I'm cleaning the back there. I'm throwing up the trash. I'm cleaning up the trash. Yeah. I'm out here scrubbing. They don't see that, bro.
Right.
You know, maybe they need to see that sometimes. So when I bump somebody, but I'm bumping you for a paid gig, there shouldn't be any feelings, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Business.
That's business part. That's the business part. Now, if you were paying, even if you were paying, let's say half the price, but you were paying, I get it. Yeah. You had a guess. But if you're coming here for absolutely free and I'm bumping you for a paid gig, come on.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people, and maybe they need to learn that as well, which is fine. I don't hold it against it, but that is the learning curve.
Yeah, and that's something that I had to learn, especially like with the warehouse, and it comes with time. Like things that you think are obvious or left, shouldn't be left without being said,
right.
or like common sense isn't common sense to everyone coming into the space.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have to I learned that I had to be very thorough with the expectations that I have when someone's coming into my space,
right,
and make sure that they understand those expectations.
Absolutely.
And be very fucking to the T, because if not, these individuals will come in and listen to what they want to listen to,
right,
and then say, well you said, but you said this, and you're like, that's not what I meant, and I thought we were under the same understanding. It's like those are some instances or situations where people that are starting, like yourself, that are opening up a space for people to come into, that shit gets fucking lost, and it gets draining sometimes.
It does. To me, luckily, it hasn't, because if it was, I'd be like, you know what, we're not doing this. If it ain't working out, we're just not doing
this.
I'm not going to be the guy that, no good deed goes unpunished, and all of a sudden, I got to start, I as you guys know, I'm a straightforward guy. This is what it is, homie, and that's what a lot of times people don't like, because I'm straightforward, and that's the way I am at work. Hey, fool, that shit ain't gonna work, because that's the way you have to be.
Yeah.
So, with that, to me, I just been very straightforward. I give everybody their time slot, but if somebody's coming, I don't care if the only way it would be really screwed up is if you had a guest coming from San Jose or something, and that person is already in a hotel over here already. Sure,
but that's already been planned.
Yes.
That's already
more communication.
There's a lot of communication that's gone into that, so you are well aware of this guest. At least you should have been aware of this guest, right? Well, and all the planning that goes.
That's why right now I'm actually looking at a different, again, behind the scenes things you got to purchase. I'm looking at a software that you can get all your scheduling, maybe share with your crew. This is what we got, because a lot of times I'll forget, and I tell my team, bro, hey, hit me up on Sunday. What you guys got the week? How many guys you think hit me up this Sunday?
None.
Zero.
Right. No, for sure.
Zero. And they hit me up. One hit me up yesterday, and they do it. And I say this lovingly, but fool, you can't hit me up a day or two, and then I tell you, hit me up Sunday. That way I know what to put on the books, because if not, I got a paying customer. That fool hit me up random, but he's paying.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell him, yeah, Simone, we got this. So it has a lot to do with communication, has a lot to do with understanding. But I'm not pulling the asshole move, and this is my spot, and if you don't, we're good. Sure. The whole point of this is so we can communicate, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a learning curve for some of us, and I think we'll get it. But it trumps as far as paying guests, but you also have to be ready to, hey, dude, do a little like you. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I forgot. Yesterday you hit me up, and I was like, oh shit, wait, let me look. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, we on. When I told you, if it rains, but that's perfect. Just like with me, I got a pretty good sized guest coming tomorrow. He already agreed with it a few days ago, but guess what? Tonight I'm gonna, hey homie, what's up?
Right.
Are we coming in tomorrow?
Up. Yeah, it's
follow up, bro.
It's a follow up, and same when we met and put this in place, the communication was, hit me back on Monday so we can make sure that that's, and so I followed up and I hit you on Monday to see, are we still straight?
Because I'm telling you this because I know things because I've had some people that, hey dude, I'm out here already. Like, out where? Out of the studio. I'm like, oh, fool. Like, and he hit me up, homie from Full News, right? Hey, yo, what's up? I'm out here. And I was sick as a dog. It was like 2 Fridays ago, right? And I'm sick, bro. I'm in bed. I came home early from work. I'm night curled out, and I'm like, out where? Oh, fool, you forgot? I was like, fuck, this fool didn't hit me up. But I didn't. No, I didn't.
Right.
I still got up out of bed, bro. I called Black Chris. I think I called first Chris, and he's like, nah, I can't. So I hit up Black. Hey, can you come in? He's like, yeah, I'll be there. But in about 30 minutes, let's do it. So I came in here, half dead, bro. Still, what's up, fool? I'm sorry, this and that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Gil. It's like, the show must go on, bro.
Yeah.
Open the doors, set all the cameras. I just told the guy, stay away from me. I'm sick. Set the cameras up, set the live up. After the live gets going, Black Chris walks in. I'm gone, fool. But I will go above and beyond to try to help people do their things. But you got to do something too. You got to do, like I said, to me, I don't mind scrubbing. I don't mind cleaning. I mind that. But don't come at me like you're scrubbing, you're cleaning. You're like,
Right.
come on.
Straight up.
If you're helping like that, then Simon, hey, fool, come on, fool. I clean the shit out of the office. Like, all right, fool, you got that coming.
Yeah.
But, only one I seen scrubbing toilets here so far is here because my wife, she'll come and help every once in a while, but she's like, I already got a house to clean. I ain't going to clean.
Exactly.
That's not my project.
It's not, and right now I can hire somebody to come clean, but I'm like, no, that could
Save.
Keep expenses low.
Keep your overhead as
Thank
low as
you.
possible.
Thank you, bro.
That's the only way to do it. Like, you got to try to, like, even myself, like, I have a big ass warehouse. I can hire people to make deliveries for me, but I'm trying to keep my overhead low, so I make the deliveries myself and I pay myself, or like budget that all out. And that's okay, right? And it's okay to do
for
that.
sure.
But you want to keep your overhead as low as possible to fucking get that money back.
You know what I asked of the team who comes in here, and not all do it as good and not all do it as bad, is leave the place the way you came in. Mm-hmm. In other words, if you see the ashtray clean the ashtray. If you see the trash, if you
Sure.
go throw it. But a lot of times, and I get it, bro. You're in the moment, you're podcasting, you do your thing, and and you leave, and I walk in, and people don't. And that's another thing. People don't see that. And I got no problem, bro.
Yeah. But after a while, it's gonna be a problem, and that's just the reality of human nature, right? Is just that's gonna eventually be a problem.
Well, I think it'll only be a problem if you got a problem with me bumping you. If you don't got a problem with me bumping, then it ain't a problem. I got no problem. To me, is we're both kind of winning. I'm getting some content that I feel is good for the platform, right? And whoever's coming in is getting exposure and having their, and not even that. You're getting this. This ain't cheap, bro. This is
right.
You're gonna go pay some money for this. So it's a give and take, and I just think that we need to realize that, and I think most people do on the platform. But it's communication at the end of the day, homie. And,
for sure.
And I think we're communicating over here.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. We like to normally close out with some like updates, shout outs. Is there any updates or shout outs that you want to point out or bring up? Oh, actually, wait, let me back up. Community stuff, community work. One, I know Steven, you're hopping onto the community scene with your pony coaching debut.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, talk to us about that, man. How's that going? Shout out
What's the name of the team?
league, your team. What's that?
So, well, I live in Wilmington. I'm just a little kid from the ghetto, just trying to hustle and nerd out. And so I've served on the neighborhood council, trying to just do as much as I can for my community. But recently I started coaching a 11 and 12-year-old team. They're Broncos at the local baseball field, just because it's important. I played at that field. I don't think anyone's going to go to the majors, but I just want to give kids a great time, teach them some fundamentals, and then teach them to not be assholes. Like you said, like really tell these younger kids, like, stay in sports. You don't need to go this way.
Yeah.
Stay in school. You don't need to go this way. I can tell you exactly what's that way.
Yeah.
But it's just guiding the younger generation.
That's dope, bro. That is real dope. I got pictures of my daughter, my wife, my son. We were little league. We were little league losers. Fool. We'd be at the park. We were at the park every day, just about, bro. And I must have been like 26, 27, right? But now I see some of those kids. One lives down here, and I say, kid, he's 30-something years old. And man, Gil, I saw you, American Cholo. That's my coach right there.
My coach.
You know, I'll pick up the kids, drop them off, because you know a lot of the kids out here, you know, they're in the hood, homie. Their parents are working. You know, dad's probably got the only vehicle. Él está trabajando. La señora's, you know, cooking. She's staying at home. So I would pick up some of these kids, drop them off.
Yeah.
But it's a great thing because sports is absolutely one of the best tools from keeping kids off the streets.
Yeah.
Because especially at that age, 11, 12 years old, they're at that
middle school.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
6,
Everything
7,
is
yeah.
changing.
Everything is changing.
Yeah.
And you got 2 years before they turn 13 or 14, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I would say if you look at the gang membership, 14 years old is probably like 70 to 80% of the age group that people start joining gangs and doing all the drugs and stuff. So what you're doing, it's not just a blessing to you, your community, it's a blessing to you and your whole family, bro. That's a great thing, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and even for myself, just thinking back, like I've seen like past coaches that I had growing up, and they're still coach.
They're forever
hey, coach.
coach.
Hey,
Forever
coach.
coach.
What's up, coach?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm coaching my godson, so that's what kind of makes it a little more important. Like, you know, just really bonding with
That's
him
cool,
and then, like I
man.
said, being coach.
So what kind of coach are you, man?
I'm the
coach
fun
are you
coach.
gonna be? Oh,
I'm the
good,
fun coach,
good,
and I'm
good.
the one who's going to be blunt, though, who's going to tell you, like, no, you're not going to do it this way because of this. If you want to prove me wrong, cool.
Are you going to be that guy saying, there's no such thing as second place, there's only winners and losers?
No,
There's no crying in
I gotta deal with
baseball.
the parents, like, oh my god, the parents
Only
are
winner
bad.
and loser.
Like the parents get pretty
It's the
rowdy.
parents, definitely the parents. That these, fuck my daughter. So I have 3 girls. One of them, she's 15. Well, gonna be 15. I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. They all play softball. Now, my oldest plays softball now. She's been playing for years. She's just joined the high school team, varsity, as a freshman. So
Right.
she's excited. And now the 4-year-old, she just started softball.
Well, how cool is that?
And but that going to the softball games, these softball parents are off the chain. They're worse than I think Little League.
But the Little League losers, they're on the same. They're all on the same umbrella,
They're
bro.
all in the same, and I think it has a lot to do with like even just the way the game is played. Like the girls are chanting throughout. Like when they're on the dugout, they have their song. They're loud. They're obnoxious, and so then the parents fall in on that, and it's like all out wars at these like softball
I wouldn't even
things.
have
It's
thought that.
insane. It's insane. But shout out to my girls for
That's
playing.
dope.
The only question I would have is, and one, I love the studio. I appreciate the hospitality. I've said it a few times.
For sure, you're very welcome.
But your message is always, education, essentially.
Yes.
I wanted to know why do you feel it's important for a cannabis show to be integrated into your platform? That's the only question.
Well, the thing that got me the most was the educational part as far as the business end of it. I think when you hear cannabis, a lot of time all you got is a bunch of fools rolling joints up and smoking it, and this is good. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but you guys bring a professionalism to the platform when it comes to cannabis. It's not the dirty, the devil stick or something, right? The devil is weed. It's cannabis, bro. Cannabis is not looked at or frowned upon like it was many years ago, where it was just the gateway drug. It's something that's not going away. It's here to stay. So if it's here to stay, why should we not get a piece of the action when it comes to the business end of it? And I think that's what you guys bring on here, and that's what I like.
Love it.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Hell yeah. We needed to get that endorsement from the American Cholo.
For sure, brother.
Now that we're going to be on the platform, I know you had Cali Mac events going on. You got your politics show. Do you have any upcoming? And I know you do a lot of community events with with the turkey giveaways
Right.
and all the other. Like I remember I went to one event a few years ago. I took my girls with me. I think it was a Cali Mac event.
Oh, okay, you were there.
We showed up, and my daughter she still raves about that taco guy that was there. She's like, those tacos were bomb.
That's a homie Balloon Glaton right there.
But I know you have a lot of these events. Do do you have anything coming up, and what is it? What does that look like for the future, at least, and with the studio integration, anything like that?
I've got a couple in the chamber. I don't know if I'm ready to pull a trigger on them yet, but I got a couple cool ones that I'll probably be announcing in probably the next month or so. I'm waiting to see let the rain go down, and then I got to consult with the wife, because that's another thing a lot of people don't see, like with the handball tournaments and all that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of
Absolutely.
It's a lot. Everybody, some the haters will say, all you do is this. Yeah, why don't you throw one, homie? Let me know how that works out.
Right.
So I've got a lot of stuff in the works. The Cali Mac thing I thought was very cool when it showed that we can come together, have a conversation, and come together as brown men and women. That's another thing I'd like to maybe have as well. The handball tournament's also up again. We'd like to do it at Venice Beach again, but probably also make it where people are also playing handball for, let's say, A type players and C type players, because a lot of people think they know how to play handball. I'm gonna keep it 100. A lot of people think they know how to play handball, and especially the homies coming out the joint, they think, homie, I played that whoa, and I smashed. Well, when they got to the Venice tournament that we threw, they couldn't keep up, bro. We had some. They had some, and
crazy.
bro. These guys were.
There's leagues out there.
No, these was raw leagues.
Yeah,
no,
there's
They're all just full
leagues.
teams. Just
no,
like,
no. These guys came out from Vegas, from Arizona. No, we had easily, if you add everybody up, we had 300 to 400 people out there. It was, they came like deep, bro. So it was dope, but there was a lot of guys who thought they know how to play handball and really didn't. And for those guys, I'm gonna make a different,
little bracket, another bracket
different
for
pool.
them.
There you go.
a different pool. But one thing for sure we're gonna do this year that I'm looking forward to, and maybe you guys can be part of it. We wanna rent out a place or get a place, whether it's a brewery, whether it's the sushi place that what's name has, and eventually rent out an actual auditorium and podcast at an auditorium. Have different segments.
Yeah.
Have people come in. I don't know, pay $20 a head to get in. And then they get to speak and interact with us and do the thing, kind of like what Duna and the community's doing out there with AD and those stuff.
Right.
I look at those guys. Those guys are an inspiration to what
Absolutely.
we're doing, homie. So I think that's the goal for this year. Now that you mention it, is to have one of those type events. First, we'll start off small just to get all the bugs out of it, see what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then hopefully by the end of the year, we can rent out a nice, like Novo type place, one of those big places, and have the raza come over there and have those conversations.
I remember I was a part, like when I first started this journey, there was a network, like a independent radio network, and they used to host, they're no longer in existence, but they used to host, like, I don't know the exact title, but there was like a podcast night, and they would like maybe rent out like a local bar that has a stage or whatever, and they'll invite podcasters to, like, they'll do their setup, and they'll invite the podcasters to do like a 15-minute set in front of a live audience, and then like the podcasters were the ones like doing the pay to like set up and all that,
right?
And that was one of their starts, and then from there that's how they pulled some of the talent. They're like, oh, that was a great podcast. Let's hop them on there. But I think something similar to that would be dope.
Yeah, and that's what the goal is for this year. As far as the podcast goes, the city work stuff, we'll find out, because the city's tough to work with, brother. They say they want our help, but when we start giving it to them, they start pushing away. But that's a whole different story.
Absolutely, man. Got any last words, Steven? Any questions?
No, I honestly just want to say thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I love the studio. I appreciate all of your stories and your messages, and I appreciate how blunt you are.
Oh, for sure,
For
man.
sure.
I want to thank you guys for coming out here, man. Shout out to CED Connects, man. This is the new and hottest, flower talk, butt talk.
There you go.
we talk out there in LA. That's very much needed, man. And I appreciate you guys, and I want to thank you guys to our platform, brother.
Thank you, man. And for myself, my shout outs, I shout out my girls every episode. So Dalia, Rosie, Faith, I love you girls. And with that being said, we're out, guys.
Fade to black, baby. There you go, Playboy.